I really hate admitting this, but I am scared, like scared as shit, like full of fear type shit, right? Like, I don't know what it's like to fight for civil rights, for human rights. That's always been in history books. I've always read that from like a grateful perspective, of like from a grateful standpoint of like, thank God those battles have already been won so that I'm able to live the life I live and things like that. But then in real time, like we're already like not responding to ICE the way we should be responding to ICE. Like they're talking about having meetings about legislation, about forcing them to wear body cameras and having to identify themselves. Y'all are having meetings about forcing federal agents to identify themselves. Force them to without the fucking meeting. We are seeing extremists implement their fucking playbook, and then we're slow walking the fucking response and looking around confused about why it's getting worse. And then in real time, right? We're all so sure that birthright citizenship, they won't overturn that. That's in the Constitution. They're about to overturn the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that arguably allowed black people to vote. Later adjustments in that act extended that to minority languages being included in that Voting Rights Act. So I know that this is just an aim at not letting immigrants vote, shit like that. Like they're continued attack on immigration and Latino people, right? But they're also very aware of how repealing that voting act, the Voting Rights Act, affects the black community, right? And they'll sit there and gaslight you and fucking lie and try to make it seem like this small population of people, this small population of black people, this small minority here is making decisions that affect the majority of the state, and the majority of the state isn't happy with that, so it's anti-democratic, right? That's their fucking argument, right? When in reality, the majority of the state is making the vote, obviously, and those votes, or the direction the state heads in, is negative for black communities, for communities of minorities and marginalized groups. So they're saying, hey, we want a fucking voice too, god damn it. And then when they have a voice and they have their places in the districts and the maps and things change according to their voice, the people who didn't want them to have a voice are now looking around at the changes going, oh, fuck no. And so you're seeing gerrymander after gerrymander after gerrymander trying to minimize these black voices. And the most infuriating thing about the Republican Party is their ability to gaslight and mask what they're actually trying to do. Because their actions, you can very easily connect the dots to what the fuck they're trying to do. But then behind that goddamn podium, behind that motherfucking mic, they'll try to gaslight you and make it seem like you're the crazy one. We all know that Republicans are trying to take healthcare away from millions of Americans to give more money to the fucking multi-billionaires, right? They want to call this a democratic attempt at political theater, right? I can list example after example after example, but my fear stems from, one, there are racist and white supremacists all throughout the federal government, especially now. Two, what the fuck is a lifetime appointment, bro? The Supreme Court has shown clear-cut corruption and bias, and we have to deal with this until they go on to the next world. Why do you get to show corruption and bias and keep your position, bro? That question goes for everything in the federal government. Like, what is this? We're literally talking about reversing the Voting Rights Act of 1965, bro. And if they do that, and then all of these white supremacists and racists and people that are too pussy to voice their racism, but definitely are racist, now they can just vote and do shit in the shadows. And then when communities are affected by that negatively, they'll say, you know, this is just what the American people wanted. Can't you see how the majority voted? It's not the majority when you intentionally cut out people's voices. You're only allowing like-minded people to vote. That's why they attack Democrats the way they attack Democrats. And the saddest part is they can't even explain a fucking end goal to you. Like, okay, every Latino is out of the country, every black person is out of the country or fucking slave, every blue-eyed, blonde-haired white woman has fucking $1 million and is subservient to her husband who has $5 billion. All this bullshit. Once you get everything your evil mind wants, then what? You think you'll feel satisfied? You think you'll feel fulfilled? No. Evil has a hunger that cannot be fucking satiated. Like, it cannot be filled. Like, it's always going to be hungry. So even if you get everything you currently claim to want and your fucked up mind and your fucked up worldview, once you're in that reality, you're still going to want more, you weird bitch. You can't even fucking adequately explain what your end goal is, how you benefit from it. You just know that it allows you to implement your hatred onto the fucking world, but then you'll turn around and praise God. Get the fuck out of here, bro. So yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared they're gonna take away all of the fucking civil rights, human rights we're used to fucking benefiting from. And then we have to take up the mantle and the battle, the real battle, an actual battle of getting that back. Battles for fucking human rights and civil rights and shit like that, the fact that that's a 2025 thing and not just in history books is so wildly fucking pitiful, guys. Like, our response to this bullshit is some of the most pussy shit I've ever seen in my fucking life.